Sanders threw an absolute dot to Jerry Jeudy. And what did this dude do? Take a guess. Oh, you guessed it. Vomit all over himself, dropping the ball. I don't know if you're doing this stuff on purpose. I don't know what's going on. But you're a professional, bro. It's time you start acting like it. Take a look at this here, man. This dude is insane. Take a look at this here. Shedeur Sanders going to drop back and deliver an absolute dime to Jerry Jeudy. Deep ball, spiral on it. Right there in the breadbasket, and this dude drops it. Right there in the breadbasket, and this dude drops it, man. Like, come on, bro. This dude can't be serious. Come on. It's in your hands. You're supposed to be a #1 wide receiver. You can't catch a cold, bro. You got hands like a snake. It's ridiculous watching Jerry Jeudy go out here and drop all these passes over and over and over. It looked like the same thing from last season. This dude just don't get it. He just don't get it. He may never get it. He might not figure it out until it's too damn late. But all I know is when Shedeur Sanders get in the game, I don't want Jerry Jeudy in. Let him run with Deshaun Watson. Let him run with Deshaun Watson. And let Jerry Jeudy, let Shedeur Sanders have Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston and Isaiah Bond. I don't want nothing to do with no damn Jerry.
Before going further, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It really helps us keep bringing you the content you love. Share this video with your friends so they don't miss out on all the drama and excitement.
Jerry Jeudy just dropped a perfect football in front of the entire NFL world, and nobody is talking about what that actually means for Shedeur Sanders. Not the catch, not the drop, what it means. Shedeur Sanders dropped back, read the defense, and threw a deep ball spiral with the kind of precision that most quarterbacks in this league can only dream about. It landed right in Jerry Jeudy's hands. Clean, catchable, effortless. And this man, who was just on TikTok running his mouth about which quarterback he prefers to play with, let it fall to the ground like it was nothing. Right there in the breadbasket. If you are a Shedeur Sanders fan, that moment should make your blood boil. Because that is not just a dropped pass. That is a receiver actively hurting a quarterback's evaluation window during one of the most important stretches of Shedeur's entire career. And the Browns' quarterback competition is heating up faster than anyone expected. Before we get into everything, real quick, drop a comment right now. Just type the word hands if you think Jerry Jeudy needs to go. One word. Let Gridiron Ground see where you stand on this. We are just getting started, and trust me, this story goes way deeper than one dropped pass.
Simplest possible explanation for this.
Sure, I'd like to hear it.
It's just that. It is they don't want to start Deshaun at home a week from now, and that starting him on the road is going to be less of a distraction for him because there will be a mixed reaction if Deshaun were to start his first game in 2 years almost at home.
It might be that. It might also just be the idea that they started Deshaun with the ones to begin with because the veteran part of this equation, and they're just staying true to that. Neither one has separated themselves in any sort of way, and so this is the easy way to decide it. Deshaun started the practices off as the one out of the gate, and he'll just continue with the preseason games, and then we go from there.
If I'm a Shedeur fan, I like this because Shedeur not only gets the start against the Bills, he also gets the joint practice against the Bills as well.
That could be huge. Yeah, if that's how that goes. I will be interested to see. I know you say that now as if that's he hasn't said that. Yeah, I know. I'd be interested to see what happens if they end up making Deshaun the starter in the joint practices and then Shedeur is the starter for the actual preseason game.
Just be very weak.
Well, there's some people that would argue then that Shedeur would get way less of a chance if that's the outcome because the joint practices and the only joint practice they have is that Thursday against the Bills. If that's all Shedeur gets, or that's all that we're talking about, and Deshaun gets that instead of Shedeur, that's a real advantage to Deshaun. People really weigh the...
Before going further, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It really helps us keep bringing you the content you love. Share this video with your friends so they don't miss out on all the drama and excitement.
Here is what people need to understand before anything else. This was not a tough catch. It was not a back shoulder fade in traffic. It was not a slant route with a linebacker breathing down his neck. Shedeur Sanders threw a deep ball spiral that landed exactly where it was supposed to land, right in the breadbasket, with room to run after the catch. And Jerry Jeudy, the man who is supposed to be the #1 wide receiver on this football team, dropped it like he had never seen a football before in his life. Now some of you might be thinking drops happen at training camp. Receivers have bad days. Cut the guy some slack. And normally, in a normal situation, I would agree with that. But this is not a normal situation. This is a quarterback competition that is going to determine the direction of the Cleveland Browns franchise for the next several years. Every single rep matters. Every single catch, every single route, every single moment on that practice field is being evaluated by coaches, by scouts, by the front office, by people whose job it is to decide who starts and who watches from the sideline. And in the middle of all of that, Jerry Jeudy is out here dropping dots from Shedeur Sanders. What makes this worse, and I mean significantly worse, is the context behind it. Because just recently, Jerry Jeudy was on TikTok talking about which quarterback he had to play with, running his mouth on social media like he is the one calling the shots, like he is the franchise player who gets to decide how this thing plays out. I broke that whole situation down in a previous video on Gridiron Ground, and if you missed it, go back and check it out because the full picture of what Jeudy said on that TikTok makes what happened at practice even more infuriating. Think about that for a second. You go on social media and publicly talk about your quarterback preference. Then you show up to practice and drop a perfect throw from the very quarterback who is fighting for his career in this competition. That is not just a bad day. That is a pattern. And patterns tell you everything you need to know about a person. Because here is the thing about Jerry Jeudy that nobody wants to say out loud. This is not new. We watched this exact same thing happen last season, over and over and over. Drops that should not happen at the professional level. Contested catches that a #1 wide receiver is supposed to make in his sleep. Jeudy was missing them. And now heading into a new season with a new quarterback trying to prove himself in a high-stakes competition, we are watching the same movie play out all over again. He just does not get it. And the longer this continues, the more it damages the people around him. Right now, the person being damaged most directly is Shedeur Sanders. Here is why that matters so much. Shedeur is being evaluated on everything that happens when he is under center. The accuracy of his throws, the decisions he makes, the way he moves the offense. But evaluations do not happen in a vacuum. When your #1 receiver drops a perfect deep ball, the casual observer, the person watching from the sideline who does not understand the full context, might look at that play and wonder if something was off with the throw, even when the throw was perfect. Even when every single person on that field knows the throw was a dime. That is the danger of what Jeudy is doing. Whether he realizes it or not, every drop makes Shedeur's evaluation window a little bit murkier than it needs to be. And Shedeur Sanders cannot afford murky right now. He needs clean. He needs clear. He needs his receivers catching football so that when the coaches and the front office sit down and review the tape, they see a quarterback who is performing at a high level without any question marks attached. Jerry Jeudy is putting question marks where there should be exclamation points. And that, right there, is the problem. When Shedeur Sanders gets his shot, I do not want Jerry Jeudy on that field, period. Now let us zoom out from the Jeudy situation for a moment and talk about something that got a lot of attention this week. Because the Browns confirmed the preseason game assignments for this quarterback competition, and the way they split it up is more interesting than the headlines are giving it credit for. Here is how it breaks down. Deshaun Watson is going to start the preseason opener against the Chicago Bears. Shedeur Sanders is going to get his start the following week against the Buffalo Bills. On the surface, some people looked at this and immediately started screaming that the Browns are protecting Watson, that they are giving him the first game because they want him to win the competition, that the whole thing is rigged before it even starts. I hear that argument, and I understand why people feel that way given everything that has gone on with this franchise over the past couple of years. But I want to push back on that narrative hard, because I think it misses what is actually happening here. Let us start with the Watson side of this. Daryl Ryder from 92.3 The Fan, one of the most plugged-in Cleveland sports insiders there is, offered what he called the simplest possible explanation for why Watson gets the Bears game. And his reasoning makes more sense than the conspiracy theory crowd wants to admit. Watson has not played meaningful football in nearly 2 years. If the Browns were to start him in his first preseason game at home in front of the Cleveland crowd, the reaction in that stadium would be a mixed bag at best. There is baggage there. There is history. There are fans in Cleveland who do not want to see Deshaun Watson at all, let alone starting a game at home. Starting him on the road against Chicago, away from that pressure cooker environment, gives Watson the best possible chance to shake off the rust without the distraction of a divided home crowd defining the moment before the game even kicks off. That is not favoritism. That is smart organizational management of a complicated situation. But here is where it gets good for Shedeur Sanders. And this is the part that the doom and gloom crowd is completely overlooking.
Threw an absolute dot to Jerry Jeudy. And what did this dude do? Take a guess. Oh, you guessed it. Vomit all over himself, dropping the ball. I don't know if you're doing this stuff on purpose. I don't know what's going on. But you're a professional, bro. It's time you start acting like it. Take a look at this here, man. This dude is insane. Take a look at this here. Shedeur Sanders going to drop back and deliver an absolute dime to Jerry Jeudy. Deep ball, spiral on it. Right there in the breadbasket, and this dude drops it. Right there in the breadbasket, and this dude drops it, man. Like, come on, bro. This dude can't be serious. Come on. It's in your hands. You're supposed to be a #1 wide receiver. You can't catch a cold, bro. You got hands like a snake. It's ridiculous watching Jerry Jeudy go out here and drop all these passes over and over and over. It looked like the same thing from last season. This dude just don't get it. He just don't get it. He may never get it. He might not figure it out until it's too damn late. But all I know is when Shedeur Sanders get in the game, I don't want Jerry Jeudy in. Let him run with Deshaun Watson. Let him run with Deshaun Watson, and let Jerry Jeudy. Let Shedeur Sanders have Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston and Isaiah Bond. I don't want nothing to do with no damn Jerry Jeudy.
Before going further, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It really helps us keep bringing you the content you love. Share this video with your friends so they don't miss out on all the drama and excitement.
Shedeur does not just get the Bills' preseason game. He also gets the joint practice against Buffalo. And if you do not understand why that matters, let me break it down for you right now. Joint practices are not walkthroughs. They are not controlled scrimmages against your own defense where everybody knows the plays and nobody is going full speed. Joint practices are live, competitive, real football situations where you are going up against players who are trying to take your head off because their jobs are on the line too. The Bills' defense is not going to take it easy on Shedeur Sanders because he is a rookie in a quarterback competition. They are going to bring it. And that is exactly the environment where Shedeur Sanders thrives. This is the part that people around the league actually weigh heavily. Coaches, scouts, and front office decision makers do not just watch the preseason games. They watch the joint practices. They watch how a quarterback processes information under real defensive pressure. They watch how he moves through his reads when the pass rush is not a simulated sprint, but an actual NFL defender trying to get to him. Shedeur is going to get that on Thursday against Buffalo in the joint practice, and then he is going to get it again in the actual preseason game. That is a significant chunk of evaluation time. That is 2 full opportunities to show the world what he can do against one of the best defenses in the AFC. The narrative that Watson has the advantage because he goes first is lazy analysis. Shedeur Sanders is getting the joint practice and the game start against a legitimate Bills team. If he goes out there and performs the way we know he can, this competition could be as good as over before August 23rd even shows up on the calendar. Gridiron Ground has been saying this for weeks, and the receipts are right here. Let us go deeper on the joint practice situation, because I do not think most people fully appreciate how much weight this carries in the evaluation process. And if you are a Shedeur Sanders fan, this is the part of the conversation you need to lock in on right now. There's a reason why coaches and scouts treat joint practices differently from regular training camp sessions. When your team is practicing against itself day after day, there is a familiarity that sets in. Defenders know the tendencies of the offensive players they are going up against. Offensive linemen know the moves the defensive ends like to use. The quarterback knows which cornerback is going to be where on any given coverage because he has watched that same corner all camp. It is football, but it is filtered football. It is competition with a ceiling on it. Joint practices blow that ceiling off completely. When the Bills show up on Thursday and line up across from Shedeur Sanders, none of that familiarity exists. Buffalo's defensive coordinator is not going to show him the same looks he has been seeing from Cleveland's defense all camp. Their corners are not going to play him the same way his own teammates do. The pressure packages are going to be different. The disguises are going to be different. Everything is going to be new, fast, and competitive in a way that training camp against your own guys simply cannot replicate. And that is exactly where elite quarterbacks separate themselves from the ones who are just putting up numbers against familiar opposition. Darrell Ryder touched on this during the afternoon drive segment, but I think the full weight of it got lost in the conversation. He said, and I want you to hear this clearly, that people around the league weigh joint practices significantly. Not slightly, not somewhat, significantly. Because what you see in a joint practice against a legitimate NFL defense is closer to real game evaluation than almost anything else you can do in the preseason. Now think about what that means for Shedeur Sanders specifically. He is going to get the Thursday joint practice against Buffalo. He is going to get reps against a Bills defense that is built to win, a defense that is not going to soft pedal anything. And then 4 days later, he is going to take the field for the actual preseason game and do it all over again with the whole country watching. That is not a disadvantage. That is a showcase. Compare that to what Watson is getting with the Bears opener. Chicago is a team in rebuild mode. Their defense is not going to present the same challenge that Buffalo brings. Watson gets his first reps back in game action against a team that is not exactly striking fear into offensive coordinators right now. That is a softer landing for a quarterback who needs to shake off nearly 2 years of inactivity. Shedeur Sanders is getting thrown into the deep end against one of the toughest defenses in football in both the joint practice and the actual game. And you know what? He should want it that way, because Shedeur has never shied away from the spotlight. He has never backed down from competition. That is who he is. The Gridiron Ground audience already knows this. We have been tracking Shedeur's trajectory since before the draft. We have watched every camp report, every practice note, every piece of film that has come out of Cleveland. And every single indicator points to a quarterback who is ready for this moment. The joint practice against the Bills is not something to fear. It is something to circle on the calendar and get excited about. Because if Shedeur Sanders goes out there on Thursday and performs the way he has been performing in practice, throwing dimes that his receivers actually catch this time, the conversation about this quarterback competition is going to shift in a very dramatic way. And when it does, remember where you heard it first. Right here on Gridiron Ground, where we do not just follow the story, we stay ahead of it. Now we need to have the real conversation. The one that a lot of people in the Cleveland media are dancing around but nobody wants to say directly. Because when Darrell Ryder was asked what happens if this quarterback competition is still a dead heat come August 23rd, his answer was revealing in a way that should concern every single Shedeur Sanders fan who is paying attention. He said the tie goes to the veteran, Deshaun Watson. And he gave his reasoning. His logic was essentially this. If the Browns start Watson and it goes sideways, They can hand the keys to Shedeur and say the rest of the season is yours. And theoretically, Shedeur ends up playing more games, getting a longer evaluation window than the 7 games he had last year when, as Darryl put it.
Before going further, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It really helps us keep bringing you the content you love. Share this video with your friends so they don't miss out on all the drama and excitement.
He was thrown into the fire and was not exactly set up for success. I want to be fair here. I want to acknowledge that logic before I tear it apart, because on a purely organizational strategy level, that reasoning has some surface-level appeal. You protect your young quarterback from the chaos of a struggling season early. You let the veteran take the lumps, and when the time is right, you bring in the future and let him play meaningful football with a team that is hopefully in a better position. I get it. I understand the chess move being described there. But here is where it falls apart completely. That logic treats Shedeur Sanders like a contingency plan, like a plan B, like the thing you turn to when everything else has already gone wrong. And Shedeur Sanders is not a plan B, he is a first-round draft pick. He is the most talked about quarterback prospect to come out of college football in years. He is the son of a coaching legend, raised in the game, trained for this moment his entire life. And the idea that the tiebreaker in his evaluation should be the fact that his competition is simply older is not football logic. That is institutional comfort logic. And there is a difference. Institutional comfort says you go with the known quantity because it is safer for the people making the decision. If Watson starts and struggles, the organization can say they gave the veteran a chance. Nobody gets fired for starting the established player. But if they hand the job to Shedeur and it does not go perfectly, suddenly people are questioning the decision, questioning the evaluation, questioning everything. So the tie going to the veteran is actually about protecting the decision makers as much as it is about football. And I think fans deserve to understand that. Here is what the actual football argument looks like. Deshaun Watson has not played meaningful football in nearly 2 years. His last real action was limited and surrounded by controversy that shook this franchise to its core. Shedeur Sanders has been competing at a high level every single day in training camp. He has been throwing dots. He has been processing defenses. He has been doing exactly what you want to see from a quarterback fighting for the starting job. If those 2 players are genuinely in a dead heat through the preseason, and Darryl Ryder himself said the competition has been a dead heat going all the way back to the spring, then the tie should go to the guy who represents what this franchise is supposed to be building toward. Not the past, the future. The Browns organization has to ask themselves a very important question right now. Are they trying to win this season, or are they trying to develop the long-term answer at quarterback? Because if the answer is the latter, and it should be, then there is no scenario where a dead heat ends with Watson getting the nod. You go with the future. You go with Shedeur Sanders. You build the offense around him. Get him the right receivers. Get Jeudy off the field when he is dropping balls. And you let Shedeur show this league what Cleveland has been waiting years to see. That is not a take. That is the only logical conclusion if you are thinking about this franchise beyond the next 3 months. The veteran default. It is one of the oldest and most frustrating ideas in professional football. The notion that when things are close, when the competition has not produced a clear winner, you go with the guy who has been around longer, the guy who has more experience, the guy who the organization is simply more comfortable handing the ball to because at least they know what they are getting. It has held back young quarterbacks in this league for decades, and right now, it is hovering over Shedeur Sanders like a storm cloud that refuses to move. Let me be crystal clear about something. Nobody in and around the Shedeur Sanders camp is asking for a handout. Shedeur has never asked for anything to be given to him. He showed up to training camp and competed. He is out there every single day throwing the football, going through his reads, working with his receivers, preparing himself for this competition like a professional who understands what is at stake. That is all anyone can ask of a quarterback in his situation. What he is asking for, what he deserves, is a fair evaluation based on what he actually does on the football field, not on what the organization is comfortable with, not on who has been around longer, not on what is safer for the people making the decision. On football, pure, unfiltered, on-the-field performance. And the challenge with the veteran default thinking is that it distorts that evaluation before it even happens. When the default assumption is that a tied competition goes to the veteran, you have already put a thumb on the scale before a single preseason snap is played. You have already told the young quarterback that no matter what he does, no matter how many dimes he throws, no matter how well he performs against the Bills in the joint practice and the preseason game, if it is close, the other guy wins. That is not an evaluation. That is an outcome with extra steps. Now, I want to address something else that is hovering around this situation. The fact that the competition has reportedly been a dead heat all the way back to the spring. Darrell Ryder said it. Other reporters on the ground in Cleveland have echoed it. Coaches and front office people who have watched both quarterbacks in every single practice session have not found a clear separator. Think about what that means for a second.
Before going further, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It really helps us keep bringing you the content you love. Share this video with your friends so they don't miss out on all the drama and excitement.
Shedeur Sanders, a rookie in his first NFL training camp, has gone up against Deshaun Watson, a veteran who has played in the league for years and was considered one of the best quarterbacks in football before his absence, and he has matched him rep for rep, throw for throw, through the entire spring and into training camp. That is not mediocrity. That is remarkable. That is a rookie doing something that most rookies cannot do, which is step into a professional quarterback competition against a veteran and hold his ground completely. And the response from some people in the media is that the tie goes to the veteran anyway, after all of that. It is frustrating to watch because it sets up an impossible standard for Shedeur. If he wins the competition clearly, great, he gets the job. But if he is right there, nose to nose with Watson through everything, then it still goes the other way because of a default that exists outside of anything Shedeur can control. That is not fair, and it is not good football logic either. Here is the thing about veteran experience that people always forget in these conversations. Experience only matters if it produces results. Watson's experience comes with nearly 2 years of inactivity attached to it. His body has not taken a professional hit in a long time. His timing with receivers has not been tested in a live game environment in a long time. Experience is valuable, but it is not a substitute for current performance. Shedeur Sanders is performing right now. He is competing right now. He is throwing dots right now. That should be the standard, and Gridiron Ground will keep saying it until the Browns make the right call. Every quarterback competition has noise around it. That is just the nature of the NFL. But what is happening with Shedeur Sanders right now is a particular kind of noise, the kind that does not just distract. It actively shapes the narrative in ways that can influence outcomes. Let us talk about where the noise is coming from, because it is coming from several different directions at once, and it is important to understand each one separately. The first layer of noise is the media narrative, and the media narrative around this competition, if we are being completely honest, started with a thumb on the scale for Deshaun Watson. From the moment the Browns announced they were bringing Watson back and giving him a chance to compete for the starting job, a significant portion of the coverage framed it as Watson's job to lose rather than a genuine open competition. Shedeur was the new guy, the rookie, the wild card. Watson was the established starter returning from adversity. That framing set the tone for everything that followed. And even now, after months of training camp reports describing the competition as a dead heat, after reporters on the ground in Cleveland are consistently noting Shedeur's strong performances, the default assumption in some corners of the media is still that Watson is the frontrunner. That is narrative momentum, and it is hard to fight once it gets going. The second layer of noise is the organizational messaging. Head coach Todd Monken said back in the spring that he wanted this competition decided early, before summer vacation. That did not happen. Neither quarterback separated himself. So, the organization has been in a holding pattern for months now, and the longer that holding pattern continues, the more it feeds the speculation that the decision has already been made internally, and they are just waiting for the right moment to announce it. Now, I want to be careful here because I am not saying the Browns have made up their minds. I do not have that information. What I am saying is that the prolonged nature of this competition creates an environment where rumors and speculation fill the vacuum that a clear decision would otherwise fill. And in that vacuum, the veteran default narrative gets louder and louder. The third layer of noise is the stuff happening right on the practice field. And this brings us back to Jerry Jeudy, because every time Jeudy drops a pass from Shedeur, it is another data point that people can point to and say something is not clicking. Even if the something that is not clicking has nothing to do with Shedeur's performance, even if the throw was perfect, even if every coach on that field knows the problem was the receiver and not the quarterback.
Before going further, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to smash that subscribe button. It really helps us keep bringing you the content you love. Share this video with your friends so they don't miss out on all the drama and excitement.
The casual observer does not always get that context. And in the age of social media, clips spread faster than context. A drop from Jeudy on a Shedeur throw becomes a talking point before anyone has a chance to explain what actually happened. That is the environment Shedeur is operating in right now. He is throwing dimes into a noise machine. And the only way to cut through that noise is to perform so clearly, so undeniably, so perfectly in the Bills' joint practice and the preseason game that there is no room for any narrative to survive, except the one that says Shedeur Sanders is the best quarterback on this roster. That is what is at stake when he steps onto that field against Buffalo. It is not just a preseason game. It is a statement. It is Shedeur Sanders telling the entire NFL world that he is not a dead heat. He is not neck and neck with a quarterback who has not played in 2 years. He is the guy. Full stop. And right here on Gridiron Ground, that is the story we have been tracking since day one. We have given you every angle, every insider take, every piece of information that matters in this competition. And we are going to keep doing exactly that as we head into the most important stretch of Shedeur Sanders' young career. If you are not subscribed to Gridiron Ground yet, now is the time, because this is just getting started. There is a decision point coming, and it is arriving faster than anyone in Cleveland is comfortable admitting. August 23rd has been the date that reporters and insiders have been circling on the calendar. That is the target date for the Browns to make a call on who their starting quarterback is going to be when the regular season opens. And right now, with the competition still unresolved, the pressure on that date is building every single day. So let me give you the roadmap. Let me tell you exactly what to watch for between now and that decision, and what the Browns absolutely must do if they want to get this right. First, the joint practice against the Bills. This is the most important evaluation opportunity between now and August 23rd for Shedeur Sanders. Every rep he takes in that joint practice is going to be watched closely by people whose opinions matter in this decision. He needs to be sharp. He needs to be decisive. He needs to go through his reads quickly and deliver the football to guys who are actually going to catch it. And that last part is not entirely in his control, which is why the second point matters so much. The Browns need to rethink who is running with Shedeur Sanders in this evaluation window. I have said it once, and I will say it as many times as it takes. Jerry Jeudy dropping clean deep ball spirals in the breadbasket is not acceptable when the stakes are this high. Give Shedeur the receivers who are competing and catching the football. Denzel Boston, Casey Conception, Isaiah Bond. These are the guys who should be out there with Shedeur when it counts. Not a receiver who is more focused on his TikTok presence than his hands. The Browns' front office and coaching staff need to understand that a fair evaluation of Shedeur Sanders requires the people around him to do their jobs. You cannot evaluate a quarterback properly if his receivers are actively working against him with drops. That is not a knock on the competition structure. That is a knock on the execution of it. And the Browns have the power to fix it right now. Third, the preseason game against Buffalo. After the joint practice, Shedeur gets the actual game. And this one matters in a way that goes beyond the box score. What the coaches are going to be watching is not just how many yards he throws for or how many touchdowns he gets. They are going to be watching how he handles pressure, how he moves through his reads when the pocket collapses, how he responds to adversity if a drive stalls or a play breaks down. Those are the intangibles that tell you who a quarterback really is when the lights are on. And here is what I know about Shedeur Sanders from everything we have seen. He handles pressure well. He does not panic. He processes the game at a level that is rare for a rookie. Those qualities are going to show up against Buffalo if his team around him is doing its job. Fourth, and this is the big one, if the competition is still even after the Bills' joint practice and preseason game, the Browns cannot fall back on the veteran default. They have to make the call based on football. And the football argument right now, based on everything coming out of Cleveland, points toward Shedeur Sanders. Reports claim he has been matching Watson throw for throw throughout this entire process. That is not nothing. That is a rookie going toe-to-toe with an experienced NFL quarterback and not blinking. The Browns owe it to their future to make the right call here. Not the safe call, not the comfortable call, the right call. And right here on Gridiron ground, we are going to be watching every single development as it unfolds. Every practice report, every insider take, every piece of film that comes out of Cleveland. We have been with this story from the beginning, and we are not going anywhere. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button right now, because the people who are locked in on Gridiron ground are going to know what is happening in this competition before it becomes mainstream news. That is what we do here, and we are just getting warmed up. Let us step all the way back for a moment, because beyond the dropped passes and the preseason scheduling and the dead heat debates, there is a bigger story unfolding here. And it is one that every NFL fan, not just Browns fans, not just Shedeur Sanders fans, should be paying close attention to. This is a story about how the league treats young quarterbacks, how organizations balance the pressure to win now against the responsibility of developing the future, how media narratives can shape outcomes before the competition is even finished, and how one rookie, in the middle of all of that noise, is simply trying to get a fair shot at proving what he can do. Shedeur Sanders walked into the NFL with more scrutiny than almost any prospect in recent memory. His last name is Sanders. His father is Deion Sanders, one of the most iconic figures in football history. And from day one, there were people in and around the league who made up their minds about Shedeur before he ever threw a single professional football. Some said he was only there because of his father. Some said he could not handle the pressure of the NFL. Some said he was not built for what a real professional quarterback competition demands. And what has Shedeur done with all of that noise swirling around him? He has gone to work. Every single day in Cleveland, he has gone to work. He has thrown dots. He has competed. He has matched a veteran quarterback rep for rep through an entire spring and into training camp without flinching. He has done everything a coach could ask of a young quarterback fighting for a starting job. That is character. That is the kind of thing that does not show up in highlight reels but defines careers. Now here is the thing that I want to leave you with, and I want you to think about this beyond this video. The way the Browns handle this competition is going to set a precedent, not just for Shedeur Sanders, but for how this franchise approaches building for the future going forward. If they do it right, if they evaluate fairly, if they let the best player win regardless of the veteran default or the organizational comfort logic, then they send a message to the rest of the league that Cleveland is serious about developing talent and building something real. If they do it wrong, if they fall back on the safe option, if they let the tie go to the veteran when the football argument points in a different direction, then they kick the can down the road again. And the Browns have been kicking that can for a long time. Shedeur Sanders represents something for Cleveland that goes beyond wins and losses this season. He represents the possibility of having a real answer at quarterback. A guy you drafted intentionally, developed deliberately, and built your offense around for years to come. That is rare in this league, and the Browns are sitting right on the edge of it. The joint practice against the Bills is coming. The preseason game against Buffalo is coming. August 23rd is coming. Every one of those moments is going to matter. Every throw Shedeur makes, every decision, every rep is going to be part of the evaluation that shapes what this franchise looks like for the next decade. And here on Gridiron Ground, we are going to be with you for every single moment of it. We are going to break down the practice reports. We are going to analyze the preseason tape. We are going to give you the insider takes from the people who are closest to this story. And we are going to do it with honesty and with receipts, because that is what this community deserves. This is not just a quarterback competition. This is a franchise at a crossroads, and the choice they make is going to echo for a long time. Shedeur Sanders has done his part. Now it is time for the Cleveland Browns to do theirs. Stay locked in right here on Gridiron Ground, because the next chapter of this story is about to get very interesting. Here is where everything stands right now, and I want to make sure you leave this video with the full picture locked in. Jerry Jeudy is dropping perfect footballs in training camp while running his mouth on social media about quarterback preferences. That is a problem that the Browns need to address immediately if Shedeur Sanders is going to get the fair evaluation he has earned through months of consistent, high-level performance. The preseason schedule actually sets Shedeur up well. He gets the Bills' joint practice on Thursday and the games start against Buffalo. 2 full opportunities to perform against one of the toughest defenses in the AFC. That is not a disadvantage. That is a showcase, and Shedeur is built for exactly this kind of moment. The dead heat narrative and the veteran default thinking are the real threats to this competition being decided on pure football merit. If the Browns let comfort and convention make this decision instead of performance, they will be making a mistake that Cleveland fans will feel for years. And the bigger picture here is about what this franchise wants to be. A team that plays it safe, or a team that builds something real. Shedeur Sanders has shown up every single day and competed. The receipts are right there on that practice field. Now the Browns have to make the right call. We will be watching every development right here on Gridiron Ground. Stay subscribed. Stay locked in. And as always, we will bring you the truth before anyone else does.
Let's get back to that idea that you said that they're kind of in a dead heat here. If that were to continue through, I think it's August 23rd, that's kind of been a spot people have earmarked that makes sense to kind of name a starter. Who do you think the tie goes to?
I would probably say the tie goes to the veteran Deshaun Watson. I've said this, and I know that people have come after me for saying it, but organizationally, if you start with Deshaun, and I'm not trying to go negative here, but let's just say this plays out where it doesn't go well, then you can turn it over to Shedeur and just say, hey, the rest of the season is yours. Take us home. And then he plays as long as he stays healthy, and you really get a larger evaluation of him than just the 7 games that you had last year where he wasn't exactly set up for success. He was thrown into the fire,